Good morning, Clear Lake peeps. Ross England from Clear Lake Guide Service with your fishing report for Clear Lake. Let's see, today is March 11th. Today we're coming from a weird spot. We froze our tails off yesterday afternoon. The boat is still sopping wet. Was too cold to do this yesterday. Doing it in the house near the fireplace this morning. Central. Okay. Well, we're a little past the first week of March. So let's go over the conditions real quick. What I saw last couple days is water temperature that was down into the 51 degree range. So it's dropped off a little bit. If you didn't know, we had some really cold weather the last couple days. We were among a few boats who actually enjoyed the process of fishing in the snow on Clear Lake yesterday. It wasn't horrible, but I can tell you in all my years of fishing here, it's the first time I have experienced it. And actually, I hope there's a lot more years ahead that I don't experience it. So it was cold, it was windy. Water temp around the lake, I can't tell you how it responded down on the bottom end of the lake, because the last couple of days I've stayed up on the upper end of the lake. It definitely dropped from about 52.5, 53 down to 51 and change. This morning is cold again, so it may actually have dipped down into the high 50 range. We'll see when we get out there this morning. The water clarity held up pretty well. Most of what I saw the last couple days was around 2 feet. And again, all of my report is focused on the upper end because I haven't been on the bottom end of the lake or been able to get around. So water clarity is good. There's no issue with that. There's no runoff coming into the lake. None of the creeks are running, even with all the predicted rain that we had the last couple days. And it actually is a little spooky because if you look ahead, we've got another 4 or 5 days of predicted rain next week, and if you add it all up, it's less than a half an inch of rain. So same thing happened this week as far as the lake level. No change. We're at 1.1. We went into this series of storms this week. When you added it all up, about 2 inches of rain is what we were supposed to get, and that changed and changed and changed. I don't think we even got 3/4 of an inch of rain, but I'm not 100% sure. I can just tell you that there's not enough rain to get any of the creeks running. Adobe is still dry. Kelsey Creek is still doing nothing. It's just static. We did get a lot of snow around the lake, so there's going to be a lot of soaking, but I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of runoff. So sorry, got a little sidetracked there. So water temp, watercolor, activities. This weekend, the 13th and 14th, there is a new Gen Edge tournament, whatever that is. I'm not sure. There is a Monday through Friday off limits, according to what I wrote down. And the last couple tournaments, New Gen went out of Konocti Harbor, so I'm just going to assume they're doing the same thing. Have no idea what size tournament it is. And by the way, every time I talk about activities on the weekend, just always know that there's probably 1 to 5 club tournaments going on at the same time, not to mention the fact that there'll be a lot of people pre-fishing, especially during the spring for upcoming tournaments. After this weekend, the 13th and 14th, the world-famous Chamber Tournament is going to be going on the 20th and 21st, which is the following weekend. So it'll be busy next week with quite a few people up here pre-fishing. So those are activities. Fishing, I'm going to tell you right now, it's a tale of two worlds. There was a BBT tournament last weekend with a bunch of really good weights. There was a handful of 30-pound weights. There was probably another 8 to 10 20-pound bags. I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not that guy, and I can't tell you where or how it's happening. The fact that I don't see, many people fishing around me tells me a lot of the activity is down in the southern arms, whether it be the rattlesnake or redbud arm. I suspect that a little bit of it is coming from A-rigs, but I think jigs, swim baits, and some deep diving crankbaits have been, a big part of what's been going on down there. We're not experiencing that. We have fished this week is probably the first week that I've gotten away from fishing underspins, and I can tell you all the fish that we've caught this week. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm kind of proud of the fact that we actually caught fish in the weather that we fished the last 2 days. Yesterday we had 10 fish with about a 21-pound limit, and the day before 7 fish. But that's that was losing an hour to a recurring motor problem and a new motor problem that popped up. We were able to get taken care of by Garrett and his team at McAtee Marine, and actually get back out on the water and salvage about a 4-hour day. And then yesterday we only got in about 4 hours just because we froze to death. So our best limit yesterday, we were right at 21 pounds. We caught a 5-pounder each day and a 4-pounder each day. Some small males and some small females in the 3 to 3.5 pound range. So we're not catching a lot of fish. Fortunately, we don't have a lot of fishing pressure where we're fishing, and we're just going around fishing small swim baits, getting a lot of bites. Some of them are probably crappie pecking at it, and some of them are just bass doing their usual thing, coming up and pecking at it. We were fishing, I guess what's now a discontinued river to sea swim bait, and a little creeper, probably about 3.5, 4 inches long. So those were the two things that we fished. The color didn't seem like it made any difference. Did not pull out a plastic worm, just stuck with it, and we got our bites. So most of our action was in 6 to 7 feet of water. As long as we had the boat in that range, it seemed like we would get bit. Although I know in a couple places, a couple of fish that we caught were probably only about 3.5 feet deep. So going to go out and try to do the same thing. It was I wanted to throw rip bait a little bit yesterday, but the wind just wasn't cooperating. It's kind of hard when you're trying to hold your boat and you're pointing in one direction. You're going to have to cast right into the wind. So we'll see how it goes today. We're expecting a north wind, which probably isn't going to be any better. But that's kind of our fishing report. We did not catch any incidental crappie this week because we switched gears on how we were fishing. There's still a pile of people sitting down below rattlesnake. I don't know whether they're catching any fish down there or not, but there's a bunch of people down there fishing. So that's about it for the crappie report. Look for, in the coming weeks, crappie to start moving into some of these shallower areas that have tules left in the water. So if you can find any areas that have tules where it's a little bit deeper, you're probably going to find some crappie in the coming weeks. They're going to move in and start spawning. So I think that's it for our report today. It's a little disjointed, and I apologize for that. Thank you for all the folks who sent notes on my motor being down and hoping that it was going to be back up to speed. This is the only motor I've ever had that I've had issues with coils, and I think this was coil number 9. So I'm hoping that that's behind me, but the odds are number 10 is going to come here at some point. So remember, not this weekend, but the following weekend, the 20th, the 21st, chamber tournament. typically used to run a couple hundred boats. It's probably going to be about 100 and change. And it's typically an event that a lot of people will come here and fish, multiple days of practice going into the weekend. So I think that is it today. Hopefully the next report we can do back outside where it belongs and not in here. Thanks for your patience, and good luck with your fishing. We'll see you next week.